How often do we judge a book by its cover, missing the incredible stories hidden within its pages? This is the tale of Sam, a humble delivery guy whose day-to-day life was about to intertwine with Gong, one of the most beloved actors from South Korea, in a way that would leave a lasting impression on many. Sam had been working as a delivery person for over 5 years, navigating the bustling streets of Seoul with his trusty old scooter, delivering everything from documents to delicate parcels. Despite his hard work and dedication, his job was often looked down upon, and people rarely took a moment to appreciate the essential service he provided. One crisp autumn morning, Sam received a special delivery assignment. The address was prestigious, located in one of the more affluent areas of Seoul. As he read the name on the parcel, his eyes widened in disbelief. It was for Gong, the star he had admired in dramas and movies since his teenage years. Filled with a mix of excitement and nervousness, Sam carefully secured the parcel and headed towards the address. Upon arrival, he was stopped at the entrance by a security guard who looked him up and down with evident disdain. "Delivery for Mr. Gong," Sam announced, trying to sound confident. The guard smirked. "And you think you can just walk in here? Look at you. What would someone like Gong want with a delivery from someone like you?" Humiliated but needing to complete his task, Sam stood his ground. "Please, sir, I just need to deliver this package. It's my job." The guard, still smirking, finally allowed him in, muttering under his breath about how a fancy place could let in anyone these days. Sam's heart pounded as he approached the grand front door of Gong's house. Before he could ring the bell, the door swung open, and there he was, Gong in person, his presence even more overwhelming than on screen. "Hello? You must be Sam. Thank you for bringing my package." Gong greeted him with a warm smile, instantly putting Sam at ease. Surprised by the recognition, Sam handed over the package. "It's an honor, sir. I hope it arrived okay." Gong noticed the distress in Sam's eyes. "Is everything all right? You seem troubled." Sam hesitated but decided to share his encounter at the gate. Gong listened intently, his expression turning serious. "That's not acceptable," Gong said firmly. "Wait here for a moment, please." Minutes later, Gong returned with the guard who had mocked Sam. The guard looked uneasy, avoiding eye contact. "Gentlemen," Gong began, "it's crucial we treat everyone with respect. Sam here is doing his job, a job that is as important as any. Without him, how would people receive their essentials, their gifts, their business documents? Sam, I apologize for the way you were treated. And you," he turned to the guard, "owe Sam an apology." The guard muttered an apology, clearly ashamed. Gong then turned back to Sam. "Thank you for your service, and I insist you join me for tea." Inside, as they sipped green tea, Gong and Sam talked about life, dreams, and the often invisible threads that connect us all. Sam left Gong's home not just with a renewed sense of dignity but also with an autographed poster for his sister, who was also a big fan. The incident at Gong's house became a turning point for Sam. He realized the importance of standing up for oneself and the impact of kindness and recognition. As for those who witnessed or heard about the day's events, they were reminded not to underestimate the worth of any individual, regardless of their job or appearance. Indeed, everyone has a story, a purpose, and the potential to impact others profoundly. Sometimes, all it takes is a moment of understanding to see it. Let's not be quick to judge, for in each of us lies a tale worth knowing, a character worth understanding. As Sam rode back to the delivery office, his mind replayed every moment of his encounter with Gong. The warmth and respect he had received from someone he admired so greatly contrasted sharply with the initial disdain from the security guard. This experience had not only changed his perception of himself but perhaps, he hoped, it might change others' perceptions of people in his profession. Over the next few weeks, Sam's story began to spread. It wasn't just the encounter that caught people's attention, but also how Gong had stood up for him. Local newspapers picked up the story, and soon, a popular news website did a feature on Sam, titled "The Delivery Guy Who Delivered a Lesson in Humanity." The article highlighted not just Sam's everyday dedication but also emphasized Gong's actions, sparking a widespread conversation on social media about respect and the often overlooked dignity of various professions. People from all walks of life began sharing their own stories of encountering kindness in unexpected situations or moments where they wished they had received it. Amidst this viral whirlwind, Sam continued his work, but something had shifted. Residents in the high-rise apartments and the gated communities started greeting him with smiles, sometimes even inviting him in for a quick drink or just to escape the cold for a few minutes. They asked him about his day, his life, and his family, seeing him not just as a part of the background of their daily lives but as a person with his own story. One chilly evening, as Sam was finishing his rounds, he was surprised by an invitation to a local community center. They were hosting a panel discussion about the invisible threads of our society and wanted him to speak about his experiences. Standing on the stage, Sam felt nervous yet empowered. He shared his story, his encounter with Gong, and most importantly, the changes he noticed afterward. He talked about the respect and kindness he had started receiving and how it made his job not only easier but more fulfilling. "I used to think that I was just a part of the service machinery, invisible and insignificant. But that day, Mr. Gong showed me that every role in society deserves respect and recognition. We are all interconnected, and every job contributes to the fabric of our daily lives. Respect is a simple gift we can all afford to give," Sam concluded, his voice steady and confident. The audience responded with heartfelt applause. People came up to him afterward, shaking his hand, some sharing tears, others sharing their gratitude for opening their eyes to the everyday human connections they had been taking for granted. As the months passed, Sam became something of a local hero. Not in the sense of celebrity but as a beacon of community spirit and mutual respect. His story had not only changed his life but had gently shifted the social dynamics in his community. Reflecting on everything as he sat down one evening, looking at the autographed poster of Gong he had hung up in his living room, Sam felt a profound sense of peace. He realized that change doesn't always require grand gestures or monumental efforts. Sometimes, it's about one person deciding to stand up, to speak up, and another person deciding to listen and act. Sam's journey from a mock delivery guy to a respected community speaker was not just about him or Gong, it was about the potential for transformation that lies within each act of understanding and respect. It's a reminder that everyone has a role in shaping the world around them, fostering a culture where every person, regardless of their job or background, is seen, heard, and valued. Let us all strive to be that person who sees beyond the surface, who listens, who extends respect effortlessly. For in doing so, we not only uplift others but enrich our own lives, creating a tapestry of community and connection that is resilient and beautiful. Let's not forget, every individual has a story, and within every story, there is a lesson about humanity and the endless power of empathy. The next day, as Sam rode through the city, he noticed a subtle shift in the air. People seemed kinder, more aware. He could see it in the small gestures, a nod here, a smile there, an occasional wave from someone he had never spoken to before. It was as if his story had not only changed his life but had started to permeate the community, sowing seeds of compassion and understanding. One particular morning, as he made his usual rounds, an elderly lady beckoned him as he approached her home. Her hands were trembling slightly as she took her package, but her eyes were clear and filled with gratitude. "You're Sam, aren't you? I read about you. What you did, speaking up like that, it's inspired me," she said, her voice quivering with emotion. "My son used to be a delivery driver. He always said it was just a job, but I always believed it was more than that. Thank you for showing us all that it truly is." Sam was touched. He had never thought his actions would resonate with so many people, stirring memories and inspiring respect for others in similar positions. "Thank you for your kind words, ma'am. It means a lot to hear that," he replied, feeling a warmth spread through him, the kind that comes from realizing you've made a difference. As the weeks turned into months, the ripple effect of Sam's encounter with Gong and the subsequent shift in societal perception continued to expand. Schools started inviting him to speak to students about respect and the dignity of all professions. Businesses began to recognize the essential roles of their support staff, implementing policies to ensure they were treated with the same respect as the highest executives. One day, during a particularly busy morning rush, Sam was surprised to find a letter mixed in with the parcels to be delivered. It was addressed to him, Sam Park, the delivery guy who had delivered a lesson in humanity. Curious, he opened it. The letter was from a high school student who had seen him speak at a school assembly. She wrote about her brother, who had been struggling with the lack of respect he felt at his own job and how Sam's story had given him hope. She thanks Sam for helping her brother see that every job has value and that what matters most is how you treat people, not what job you do. Sam folded the letter carefully and tucked it into his jacket, a tangible reminder of the invisible threads he had spoken about, weaving through society, touching lives in ways he could never have imagined. Months later, as the anniversary of his encounter with Gong approached, Sam decided to organize a community event. He called it Threads of Society, a celebration of all professions. He invited people from all walks of life, teachers, janitors, doctors, street vendors, to come and share their stories. Gong, who had kept in touch with Sam, agreed to be a guest speaker. The event was a success, with hundreds of people attending, listening to stories, and celebrating the dignity of every profession. Gong spoke eloquently about the need for empathy and respect in every interaction, echoing Sam's message. The actor's presence brought media attention, but the real stars of the day were the everyday people, sharing their own experiences and insights. As the event came to a close, Sam looked out over the crowd, feeling an overwhelming sense of community and connection. He realized that this was just the beginning. There was much work to be done, many more minds to change and hearts to touch, but the journey was well underway. Sitting back in his modest apartment later that evening, Sam felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The poster of Gong on his wall no longer just represented a celebrity encounter but a pivotal moment in his life, a moment that had sparked a movement, a shift towards greater understanding and respect across his community and beyond. Reflecting on his journey, Sam understood that change often comes from the most unexpected places. A simple delivery guy, in delivering a package, had delivered so much more. He had delivered a message of hope, respect, and human dignity, a message that continued to resonate and inspire. Let us all remember Sam's story as a testament to the power of a single act of courage and kindness. It reminds us that we each have the power to affect change, to influence the world in small but significant ways. In recognizing the value in one another, we weave a stronger, more compassionate society. So, let us not overlook or undervalue anyone based on their job or status. Instead, let's choose to see the worth and potential in every individual, fostering a world where every person is respected, every profession valued, and every story heard. As the seasons changed and the leaves turned golden, the impact of Sam's simple yet profound act of speaking out continued to ripple through the community. His story was no longer just his own, it had become a shared narrative of empowerment and respect that touched countless lives. One brisk autumn morning, while delivering packages in a bustling part of the city, Sam was stopped by a young woman who introduced herself as Melissa. She was a local journalist, and she had been following Sam's journey since the article about him had first appeared. Melissa explained that she was working on a follow-up piece and asked if he would be willing to share more about his experiences since that transformative day. Eager to spread his message even further, Sam agreed, and they sat down at a nearby cafe. As they talked, Sam shared insights about the various interactions he had had over the past months, each story a testament to the power of treating each profession with dignity. Melissa listened intently, her eyes lighting up with each narrative. What you're doing is not just about changing perceptions, it's about reshaping how we connect with each other on a fundamental level, she remarked, her voice filled with a mix of admiration and inspiration. The article, when it was published, titled Continuing the Journey, The Delivery Guy Who's Changing Hearts, not only recapped Sam's initial story but also highlighted his ongoing contributions to fostering a community of respect. It delved into the lives of those who had been influenced by Sam, from the elderly lady to the high school student and her brother, showcasing a chain reaction of positivity and change. As Sam's story gained further traction, he received an invitation to speak at a national conference on community building and social change. The opportunity to share his message on such a large scale was something Sam had never imagined when he had first started his job as a delivery guy. Standing before a diverse audience of community leaders, activists, and educators, Sam felt a surge of nervous excitement. He began by recounting his initial encounter with Gong, emphasizing how that moment of kindness had sparked a larger conversation about the value of every individual, regardless of their job. I stand before you today as proof that anyone can ignite change, Sam declared, his voice resonant and clear. It starts with a single act of recognition, of seeing the person behind the service. The speech was met with a standing ovation, and numerous attendees approached Sam afterward, eager to discuss ways to implement similar initiatives in their own communities. The network of change that began with one respectful encounter was now expanding beyond what Sam had ever envisioned. In the months that followed, Sam collaborated with community leaders and other influencers to create workshops and programs aimed at promoting respect across various sectors. Companies and schools began to adopt new policies that encouraged recognition of all roles and emphasized the importance of every employee and student. Meanwhile, Sam's personal life also flourished. He found himself a mentor to many, a respected figure not just in his community but increasingly nationwide. Despite the attention, he maintained his humble demeanor, always emphasizing that the real heroes were the individuals who applied these lessons of respect and kindness in their daily lives. As the years passed, Sam continued to deliver packages, but he also delivered more speeches, participated in panels, and helped organize community events. His life had become a blend of his work as a delivery guy and his passion for advocacy, each aspect enriching the other. Reflecting on his journey, Sam realized that the most profound changes often come from the simplest actions: acknowledging someone's presence, saying a kind word, standing up for someone when it matters. These acts might seem small, but their impact can be monumental, capable of transforming communities and touching lives across generations. Sam's story, which began with a moment of mockery and a response that shocked everyone, had evolved into a powerful narrative about the potential for kindness to change the world. It was a reminder that every person has the capability to contribute to a more compassionate society, and every act of respect, no matter how small, helps to weave a stronger, more connected community. As Sam looked back, he knew that the most important deliveries he made were not the packages but the messages of hope, respect, and human dignity. His journey was a testament to the enduring impact of treating each individual with the recognition and respect they deserve, inspiring a legacy that would continue to influence and inspire far into the future. As Sam reflected on the legacy he was building, he decided to pen a book detailing his experiences and the lessons learned along the way. He hoped that by sharing his story in written form, he could reach even more people and inspire them to recognize the value in every individual, regardless of their occupation or status in society. The writing process was introspective and cathartic for Sam. He revisited the moments of challenge and triumph, from the initial mockery at the door of Gong's house to the widespread change in community attitudes. Each chapter was not only a recount of events but also an invitation to the reader to look within themselves and question their own perceptions and behaviors toward others. When the book was published, titled Deliveries of Dignity, it became an unexpected bestseller. Readers from various backgrounds found resonance with Sam's humility and his courageous stand against societal prejudice. Schools and book clubs included it in their reading lists, and Sam was invited to book signings and discussions, further amplifying his message. During one such event, a young man approached Sam, his eyes bright with a mixture of nervousness and excitement. "Mr. Park," he began, "your book moved me deeply. I work as a cashier, and there are days when I feel invisible. But reading your story has given me a new sense of pride in what I do. I've started to share my own stories with customers, and it's amazing how a little conversation can change their demeanor and mine." Sam listened, deeply moved by the young man's words. It was moments like these that affirmed the importance of his continued advocacy. He realized that his actions and now his words had begun to foster a culture where everyday interactions were imbued with respect and recognition. Encouraged by the success of his book and the stories that echoed back to him from readers, Sam launched a podcast titled Everyday Heroes. The podcast featured interviews with individuals from all lines of work, sharing their experiences and the unique challenges they face. It became a platform for highlighting the unsung heroes of everyday life, from garbage collectors to nurses, emphasizing that every job contributes significantly to the fabric of society. The podcast grew in popularity, becoming a tool for education and empathy, helping to bridge gaps between different social strata and professions. Listeners were encouraged to submit their own stories of workplace respect and transformation, which Sam featured in special episodes. This interactive element of the podcast further strengthened the sense of community and shared responsibility among his audience. One episode particularly stood out when a CEO of a major corporation called in, admitting how Sam's book and subsequent podcast episodes had inspired him to re-evaluate his company's work culture. He shared initiatives they had implemented to ensure that every employee from the janitorial staff to the executives felt valued and respected. This not only improved morale but also productivity and company loyalty. Years rolled on, and the impact of Sam's simple act of courage, his books, speaking engagements, and podcast continued to ripple outwards, reaching corners of society that were initially beyond his imagination. His message of dignity and respect in all professions became a beacon of change, influencing policies and personal interactions alike. As he grew older, Sam often sat in his favorite chair, looking out over the city he had helped transform. He thought about that day at Gong's doorstep, which now seemed like a lifetime ago. It was a moment born of disrespect but had catalyzed a movement of immense respect and recognition. Sam's journey taught that change doesn't always require grand gestures or monumental efforts. Sometimes, it's the small acts of kindness, a willingness to speak up, and a consistent effort to treat everyone with dignity that sew the most lasting and impactful threads in the tapestry of society. In a world quick to judge and slow to understand, Sam's life stood as a testament to the power of empathy and respect. His legacy was not just in the policies changed or the accolades received, but in the hearts touched and the minds opened. His story was a clear reminder that everyone has the power to affect change, in their own lives and in the lives of others, one act of kindness at a time. Continuing from this profound reflection, Sam often found himself overwhelmed by the profound transformations that had unfolded from that single, seemingly insignificant moment of mockery. It wasn't just about him anymore, it was about the collective awakening to the intrinsic value of every person, regardless of their role in society. As he aged, Sam's desire to ensure that his lessons would endure beyond his lifetime grew stronger. He decided to establish a foundation dedicated to promoting dignity and respect across all professions. The Deliveries of Dignity Foundation aimed to create sustainable change by funding educational programs, community projects, and partnerships with like-minded organizations. The foundation quickly gained momentum, propelled by Sam's reputation and the widespread support from those touched by his message. It offered scholarships to students from low-income families, provided grants to educators who wanted to implement programs on respect and dignity in their schools, and supported small businesses committed to ethical practices towards their employees. One particular initiative, Respect in Action, involved workshops where people from various job sectors shared their daily experiences with others, promoting understanding and respect through direct dialogue. These workshops not only enlightened participants about the challenges faced by different workers but also facilitated a deeper human connection, breaking down barriers of misunderstanding and prejudice. Sam also made it a point to stay actively involved with the foundation, visiting workshops and even hosting some sessions. Despite his older age and the physical constraints that came with it, his spirit remained as vibrant as ever, fueled by the passion for his cause. The foundation's impact was profound, with numerous testimonials from individuals who had experienced a change in their workplaces and communities. Company cultures began to shift, schools integrated respect and dignity into their curricula, and individuals started to appreciate and acknowledge one another's contributions more openly. As Sam's health began to decline, he took comfort in knowing that his life's work had sparked a significant shift in societal norms. On a quiet evening, surrounded by his family and close friends, Sam shared a simple yet powerful thought that had been with him throughout his journey. We often forget that our most basic human need is to be recognized and appreciated. Let us continue to deliver dignity, one interaction at a time, and watch as our world transforms. After Sam's peaceful passing, the foundation continued his legacy, growing even stronger. Annual awards named in his honor were given to individuals and organizations that demonstrated exceptional commitment to promoting dignity across communities. Years later, at a ceremony celebrating the foundation's achievements, a statue of Sam was unveiled. It depicted him with a package in hand, a warm smile gracing his face. The inscription beneath read, "Sam Park, Deliverer of Dignity." It stood at the entrance of the foundation, a lasting symbol of a man whose simple act of bravery transcended into a global movement. Reflecting on Sam's story, we are reminded of the profound impact that one individual can have on the world. His journey teaches us that respect and kindness are not mere courtesies but powerful catalysts for change. It prompts us to ask ourselves how we can contribute to continuing this legacy of dignity, in our actions, words, and attitudes towards others. In a society often divided by differences, Sam's life stands as a beacon of unity and understanding, showing us that it is possible to bridge divides through the simple act of recognizing and valuing each other. His story continues to inspire and challenge us to make our own deliveries of dignity, no matter how small, for these are the ones that truly help to weave a tapestry of respect and compassion in our communities. Continuing from this point, the Foundation's work became more critical as societal tensions seemed to rise globally. In a world increasingly driven by rapid technological advancements and a fast-paced lifestyle, the simple human connections that Sam Park had championed were at risk of being overshadowed. Yet, it was these very principles of respect and dignity that seemed to offer a remedy to the growing disconnect among people. The Foundation organized an international conference titled Global Dignity Dialogue, which brought together leaders, activists, and citizens from various countries. The goal was to foster a global conversation on the importance of dignity in all aspects of society, from corporate halls to the streets, from educational institutions to governmental policies. At the conference, speakers shared stories that echoed Sam's beliefs and works. A teacher from a small village in India spoke about how the Respect in Action workshops had transformed the way village children interacted with their elders and peers, fostering a community of mutual respect and support. A CEO from Sweden discussed how implementing dignity-driven leadership had not only increased employee satisfaction but also boosted innovation and productivity in his company. These diverse stories highlighted a common theme: when individuals feel valued and respected, they are more likely to contribute positively to their environments. The discussions were not just theoretical but were backed by real-life case studies, providing a blueprint for others to implement similar practices. The conference concluded with the signing of the Global Dignity Accord, a commitment by all attendees to strive for policies and practices in their respective spheres that prioritized human dignity. This accord was not legally binding, but it held moral weight, as it was a public declaration of each signatory's commitment to this cause. Back home, the Foundation continued its community-level efforts. It launched the Dignity in Schools initiative, which aimed to integrate lessons on respect, empathy, and dignity into school curriculums. The initiative provided teachers with resources and training to help students understand and practice these values in their daily interactions. The impact was profound. Reports from participating schools indicated reduced bullying rates and improved student relationships. Parents and teachers alike noted a positive change in the school atmosphere, where students seemed more engaged and cooperative. Amidst these successes, the Foundation also faced challenges. Skeptics argued that such initiatives were too soft to solve real-world problems and that focusing on dignity was a luxury that could not address economic or political crises effectively. However, the Foundation held firm to its mission, believing that many societal issues could indeed be mitigated by fostering a culture of respect and understanding. As the Foundation adapted to changing times and expanded its reach, the principles Sam Park had laid down remained at its core. His belief that every interaction was an opportunity to affirm someone's dignity had become a guiding light for countless individuals and organizations. In the years that followed, the Foundation not only maintained its efforts but also innovated new ways to promote dignity across various platforms. Virtual reality experiences that allowed people to walk in the shoes of others from different backgrounds were developed, providing visceral, empathy-building experiences. Social media campaigns highlighting everyday acts of dignity went viral, sparking conversations and inspiring similar actions worldwide. The Foundation's work and the ongoing societal shift towards greater respect and understanding were a testament to the enduring power of Sam Park's vision. His simple yet profound act of standing up for his dignity had sown seeds that grew into a global movement, Transfo.